His fingernails broke as they scratched the ground, and the raw skin beneath began to bleed. But he didn't stop, clawing at the dirt over and over until the hole was large enough to hide the book in. The next bark made him whimper. They were closing in. Almost there. He had only minutes left, maybe only seconds. He shoved the notebook in the hole, bending the cover, not caring that dirt wedged itself between the pages. Then hastily he replaced the dark soil, frantically patting it down before covering it with bracken. Pushing up, he staggered away. They couldn't discover him here near the book. He couldn't let them find it. Leaning against the rough bark of a beech tree, he panted as he tried to sort through his options. Fear had turned his brain to mush, but if he could just lure them far enough away from the buried notebook. He moved, forcing his tired limbs to work as he darted out into the open again, crossing the grass and heading for the next group of trees, which were further down the hill. If he could get past them, then the road would be in view again. The B1188 out of Lincoln. If he was lucky, someone would be driving along, even at this time of the morning. He might get away after all. He could flag down a car, ask the driver to call the police. Or he might even get as far as Canwick village and rouse some sleeping resident. Hope gave him another burst of speed. He ran at full pelt into the next cluster of trees, as young branches whipped and scratched at his face and chest. He stumbled over dips and roots, but still kept moving. The road was almost in view. Safety was so close. A larger branch slammed against his temple, making him cry out and stagger. Then the barking was right behind him, snarling. A man's voice. The bouncing beams from a torch hit the trunk on a tree directly in front of him. Terrified, he turned to face the snapping jaws and heard the cold laugh of victory. The sound of a man who'd caught his prey. Chapter 1. Marissa Clerkwell shaded her eyes against the bright sunlight of the May afternoon. She'd headed out for her regular walk along the South Common later than usual, after waking up with a terrible hangover. She consumed half her body weight in coffee, but still the nagging headache remained. All self-inflicted, she thought glumly, as she trudged up the hill, watching her black dog Toots frolic happily, chasing a butterfly. If only she had the dog's energy, Marissa thought with a sigh. Marissa had adopted Toots from a rescue centre 3 years ago. Her pedigree was uncertain, but Marissa suspected she was a German Shepherd and Black Lab mix. Thanks to a deformed front paw, she'd been in the centre for months and had been overlooked by most people wanting to adopt a dog. But Marissa had fallen in love the moment she'd walked into the kennels. Toots' paw still caused issues from time to time, but today she was content racing up the hill. Marissa smiled. It certainly didn't hold her back. Marissa managed to raise a polite smile for the couple walking down the hill towards her. They had a gorgeous grey Weimaraner on a leash. The alert dog strained and jumped enthusiastically as they approached. "What a beautiful dog!" Marissa said as they passed. "She is. Still a puppy at heart, though. If she decides to chase a rabbit, she'll be halfway across Lincoln before we catch up with her. That's why she's on the lead." The man chuckled and leaned down to scratch the dog behind the ears. Marissa paused and watched as the couple walked down the hill arm in arm, then turned her attention back to her own dog. "Toots!" The black dog halted immediately and turned in a tight circle before running back to Marissa's side. "Good girl." Marissa leaned down to stroke Toots's black fur and looked into the dog's adoring brown eyes. Toots was the most loyal, loving dog, and despite her boundless energy, was usually quick to follow instructions. She straightened and clapped her hands, signalling Toots could continue to play. The dog dashed off up the hill. The South Common was a pleasant place for a walk. There were always people around, so Marissa felt comfortable walking Toots on her own. Today there were even more people than usual, owing to the fine weather. The early morning mist had given way to a sunny afternoon, though the breeze was bracing. The fresh air was slowly helping Marissa feel more human again. She probably shouldn't have anything to drink today, not after last night, but a Sunday roast really wasn't complete with